Hello, everyone. Great to be here. Mariusz, thanks for the invite. Today, we will be talking how ASO changed for us in 2022, and of course, about our cooperation between the organic team and the ASO Creative team. So let's start with a small introduction. My name is Magdalena Sumowska, and I'm an ASO expert at Huuuge Games. I have been working in the company for almost 6 years now, started as a UA manager, then moved to the Google and Apple search ads campaigns. And lately I have been, from this year, I have been running in the organic growth team as an ASO expert. And here's my colleague Agnieszka.
Hi, hello, nice to see you all here. We have really nice weather outside, so it's good that we have that Google campus. So my name is Agnieszka Szwarc-Motyl and I am ASO Creative Manager from Huuuge. I've been working here for almost 6 years and I spent all that 6 years with ASO Creatives. We started as a small 2-people team and with some time we moved and here we are. We are 2 twin teams, ASO Creatives, Organic Growth Team, and at Huuuge, we take care over our stores.
Okay, just a small reminder of how we're going to talk today. So first of all, how ASO changed in 2020 and how the job in general is evolving, about the cooperation between our 2 teams, a case study, and some takeaways. Okay, so let's look at how ASO is looking for us today. Basically, what I tried to point out here is that in many ways, we have more and more opportunities for ASO. So finally, we are able to promote in-game events with live ops and in-app events on Apple. We are able to test storefronts on Apple thanks to the product page optimization. And last but not least, with the custom product pages, we can create new storefronts and test hypotheses and ideas to target our users. And with this job added to our day-to-day responsibilities, we have a lot to do, and what we really need is cooperation. So what we mean by cooperation is that in Huuuge, we decided to move to a 2-team strategy. And here we're just pointing out how the work is looking from both of our teams. So basically, when I thought about how to present this slide, I thought that the main thing that is need to be said out loud is, unfortunately, neither me nor Agnieszka knows everything about ASO and is able to tackle the work in general. So basically, we divided the 2 teams so that the organic growth team stays analytical, plays with the metadata, with the titles, and understands the market in general, while Agnieszka's team is being creative and supporting us with understanding how the ASO ecosystem works from this angle, and both together with the contact with product and the marketing team, we're trying to tackle all of our day-to-day work. So let's move to the bread and butter of our activity, which is a hypothesis. So when I was thinking how to say what the most important ideas of a hypothesis are, the 2 main elements are iteration and brainstorming. So by that, I mean that a hypothesis is an ongoing process that an ASO team and the organic growth team and an ASO creative team is doing every day, every week, trying to understand how we can, one more time, approach the market. And this whole process starts from a fact that somebody for the organic team prepares a draft in a shared template. Then we try to brainstorm on it and understand how can we improve the hypothesis. Is the hypothesis possible? Can we really see how it works? We iterate the creative brief. And then after that, what we do is wait for the outcome, test it. And if we find it usable, reusable, we try to iterate it and run it one more time, or put it on a shelf for later opportunities, or just treat it as a failure. And for me and for everybody here, I just wanted to remind ourselves that once we create a hypothesis, it's not just going to fall out of my head. It has to be related to what product I am thinking about, what landing page I am thinking about in terms of storefront, so the geo I'm going to tackle, for instance, the audience I want to reach, of course, the product category, which is also very much related to the competition. And as we all know, that's necessary to find out who our competitors are. And last but not least, the messaging itself.
Okay, so thanks to Magda, we all know something about the hypothesis. And our next step is to show you what kind of tool we are using at Huuuge to convert that hypothesis words into graphic design. So at Huuuge, we are using shorter and simple version of a creative brief. And what is that creative brief? This is a document where you put the most important information about your task or about your project. This is also a common space for me and for Magda, where we can meet, where we can discuss all our visions and ideas. And also, this is that one place where we can collect everything in that one doc. So, what we should include in our creative brief. And what do I mean by collect everything? And to be honest, collect everything. Like, this is your cheat sheet. You should put here like your objectives, what do you want to achieve, set your goal, copy paste your references, and also put here guidelines. So everything what is in your head when you think about your task should be copy paste here. And probably you have a question, why do I need that creative brief? And my answer is quite simple, because you want to be like 100% sure that you and people working on this task have a proper map, that all of you share exactly same vision, and you have that one place when you can come back each time you need and check the smallest details. So we know what is going on with creative briefs, and now it's time to show you a template that we are using on our daily basis at Huuuge. So behind me, you can see our key elements. So obvious one, name. It's always good to know for what task or what game you are working for. Then we have date. When we create task, when is our deadline? Very important. Hypothesis. Hypothesis is our heart of our task. So you always have to have it with you. Description, what to do, what not to do, and how we can achieve. Then we have a guidelines. It's always handy, so you don't have to search around the web. And of course, references. Copy paste here everything what inspires you. It can be screenshots from your competitors or just graphic designs from the web. Then we have tips for creatives for the store. And we start with 2 icons. So today I prepared for you 2 ready-made icons that we prepared some time ago for our Billionaire Casino game. And here is my question. Which one is better? And I ask you to vote. Like, please raise your hand if you think that icon number 1 is better. Okay, nice. Icon number 2. It's like half, to be honest. Okay, now please remember your choice, because at the end of my presentation, I will show you the results. So today I prepared for you 3 tips that are important for me, and I believe that they can change the way we are working with creative side of ASO. So tip number 1, light and night mode. This feature is really popular. You can use it as an auto mode, so you let your device to change the background depending on the day-night cycle, or only choose one of these colors and use it all the time. So what does it mean for us? I'm pretty sure that most graphic designers here know the fact that environment around our designs somehow change depending on the environment. Okay, we somehow can see it in a different way. So let's check my examples. If we have our icons on a white background, all our blacks and shadows can be darker, deeper, and even more aggressive. Okay? But if we take exactly same icons and put them on a dark background, all our whites and lights are stronger, shine into our eyes too much, and also they can create that illusion their bleach and overall effect can be cheap. So what can we do with this illusion? I suggest you to not use pure white and pure black colors into your designs. Always try to mix them with different color and different tone so you can fight with this issue. Tip number 2, brightness level. We all know that our smartphones are so smart. They are so smart that they can adjust our screen brightness level depending on the light intensity surrounding us, okay? What does it mean for us? It puts gray color above our icons. And again, what does it mean for us? Now our icons are flatter, darker, and we have less visible colors. Not good. Our icons are not attractive at all. So what can we do? I suggest you to play with different type of contrast. Obvious one, light and shadow contrast, color contrast, play with different shapes, and also play with inner spaces. Thanks to this, you will be able to catch your customers' attention easier and have your assets more attractive, even with that gray coat above your store. Tip number 3, use mockups. And probably for most of you, it's like, this is so obvious. We all know about the mockups. But fact we all know, icons for Google Play Store have shape of square. But if we use our mockup, you can notice that our corners are rounded. And also they take away some of our precious workspace. So it's really important to check key elements like logo, pitch text, main graphic elements before you upload them to the store. Because when you upload them to the store, you want to see them fine, whole, and not cut in a stupid way. So this is one type of mockups, but also you can use mockups with the previous effects to test your icons or other stores in a different scenarios. And our jackpot. I want to show you what is happening when you drew all these 3 effects at once. Not good. And you can be sure that if you can see your store like this, your customers can see your store like this too. And this is really important. I mean, really important. Be smart, use different type of mockups, and test your assets in a different scenarios so you can fight against this issue.
Okay, anxious about all of Agnieszka's tips and tests, let's run a short test on Google Play. So just a reminder from my side that basically it's all about being analytical. So think about, while preparing a test, think about how you can tackle this test so it will become efficient to you, then to check the data, to look at it, and to bring it back on our next brainstorm meeting when we will share the ideas and think about the new strategies. And as of the best practices on the next slide, so what I wrote down is, first of all, to test. And this is my personal favorite, of course, because as Agnieszka pointed out, it's really hard sometimes to think about all of the ideas and all of the things that can happen to your creative. So just do it. The second one, which I wrote down, is do one test at a time. And what I mean, again, is to be analytical. So like if you want to run a test, please focus on one creative at a time and one geo. So then you'll have clear results. You can, from time to time, try to tackle it around, but basically keep it simple. As for the audience, what I mentioned here is to think about the impact your creative has on your store. So if you're testing an icon, for instance, try to keep it on a 50-50 level and test against something that will not harm the overall conversion rates on your store. Play around with screenshots, change orders, try to figure out maybe this way or that way will help. It's always a good way to think about that. If you find the results suitable to your needs. And they're amazing, and you're excited. I'm a genius. Oh my God, this test was great. Still ABB test, really. Many times you think that your test was wonderful, then you go back and recheck it, and sometimes you find out that actually the audiences are still not fully supporting. And changing a creative on ASO, like an icon, can be a big step and can really fluctuate your data. I wrote down that run a minimum of 1,000 installs here and like a 7-day time period. And of course, the 7-day time period is something that depends on a geo, so on the impact you have. So basically, if you're running a test in US, the 7-day test time is perfect enough for you. But if you're running a test, for instance, on a smaller geo like Germany, then probably it will take longer. So stick to the 1,000 and try to figure out on this amount of people. And of course, last but not least, drop a test if it really didn't kick off. So of course, maybe you said something wrong. Maybe there's some, I don't know, hidden problem, technical problem. So if after 3 days you don't see that the data is coming in the way that you would expect, then just pause it. So let's see the results.
A/B test. Surprise? Yeah, I see those faces. Like you probably want to know why icon number 2 won. Yeah? And sadly, I don't have a clear answer. So you have to know that working at ASO is like being a detective. So we have a test, then we have results, and then we have clues. And we only have clues. So thanks to that clues, we are able to create new hypotheses and then prepare next iterations. And we have that cycle, and with each of these cycles, we got new clues. So we have new answers for our questions, okay? So last thing I want to tell you is that in ASO, we don't have bad results. Bad results are not bad at all. They are learnings for us. Thanks to them, we are able to gain new experience. And thanks to that new experience, we are able to prepare our new tests and have better graphic designs and overall better results.
Yeah, so just as a summary, as a takeaway, I hope that me and Agnieszka have convinced you that having a 2-team strategy, or at least a way that you have a creative team and a creative person and a more analytical person in your ASO team is a great idea, because for us, it's really working. As everybody is trying to be an expert and do their job the best they can, and we bring to the table our diverse approaches. So thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions to maybe our speakers? Okay. Because we are streaming to the next room, we need to have the...
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I just want to go back to the icon test and think, when you think about it, you said you need clues, but if it's A/B test, you shouldn't make two things different. Like on the second icon, I voted for second, the logo is bigger. And I think the size of the logo is more visible. Probably, I know from other lectures, you have a older audience with sight problems, but you also change the background color. And I think that's why you don't have a clear conclusion. So maybe you should like divide and then just check the logo size and colors in 2 different tests. I don't know what you think about this.
Yes and no, because we have like different types of tests. If you want to test different ideas, in the name, it's a different ideas. So we try to make, maybe this way. We have different ideas, so we want to compare one to another. So we want to check which pattern is better for us. And thanks to the next, our tests, we can see the new pattern. So we can now take our Billionaire Casino icon number 2 and change something around only this type of icon. So we can now change the background color. We can change the size of the logo. But this is our iteration. But you can't set only tests basing on the iteration of one idea, because you have to see that first pattern. Okay, so we see that our ideas like our, I don't know, neon lights. And this is first sign for us, okay, go with it, go with ABB tests, and then check other iterations. So probably you will have better results with this one idea.
Yeah, so, or it could be the logo, as Agnieszka mentioned, or it could be the size of the word casino, which is also interesting, right? Was it the billionaire sign that really mattered, or was it the casino that is standing out? Because like in this category, which is social casino, the factors are either in the colors or in the coins, or as Agnieszka mentioned, in the neon light, or in the specific words that is highlighted. So my idea, for instance, for a test was once like to push billionaire to the background and highlight casino and even put a slots layer on it, right? So even more emphasize. Somebody's going to say, let's put some coins in it. Like that's why the hypothesis is so important. And then we can take those two tests and test them like separately and see what kind of figure out what really mattered. Like what was that factor?
Okay, and can we meet in the middle and say we could do ABC test with logo and color change compared to baseline, maybe?
We could, but then again, with the icon, as I mentioned, the problem is with the impact of the test. So I wouldn't set a test where I would harm the amount I'm setting on the main icon. So it's always going to be 50% on the main icon versus this test. So for me to check them, then I probably should test them one by one, right? To have that clear option out.
Hello, I have question about icon in the Play Store and icon in the application. So you iterate very often icon in the shop, yes, and
Yes.
do experiments. But later, how often do you change icon in the application itself? Because one thing is, I think, to grab new user, but second is, to have existing user who is coming to application and is searching for some particular icon, yes, in the phone or in the device. So how often do you apply this icon to the application itself?
So when we think about the application, as I understand your question, it's a different thing that happens on Apple and a different things that happens on Google Play. So on Google Play, when you test an icon, the icon on your phone stays the same, right? So if a user has your app, they have the same icon. While on App Store, if you do a test, like with the product page optimization, you send the icon to a build and then it changes with the user. So it depends then, like the test will have different impacts on users.
Okay, so let's talk about Google. If you have different icon in the shop and different icon after user install the application, how often do you handle it or equal?
Well, we change the icon very rarely. Like as it has the biggest impact, we really like have to retest it over and over again to say, okay, we really need a change of the icon. This is like the biggest switch a company takes, at least our company, to do. Like screenshots, obviously, feature banners, sure, but icon is kind of like, that sacred ground where you really have to be sure.
Thank you.
Maybe last question here.
I would like to ask about Apple and Google policy about the font and text on icon. Yeah, do you find the sweet spot? How big can be? How many letters or something? Because
if you are talking about our logo, as big as you can, or if you have an ugly logo, so don't use it. But I really believe that all your logos are pretty cool. So if you decide that you want to go with that road of branding your game, and branding is really important in your, I don't know, company strategy, go and use as bigger as you can. But if we are talking about the pitch text, so it should be readable, yes? So use mockup, use your own cell phone and check it. So if you can read it, probably your customers can read it too. And if you are talking about the font size and about the font style, don't use fancy gradients. Don't use it. Like, try to keep it simple, because you have to remember that your customers is roaming around the store. It's like swipe, swipe, swipe. So you have like 3 seconds to catch the attention. So keep it simple.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for a
Thank
great
you.
presentation.